All right, this is the everything to know about Mark Token show episode. Who knows? I'm teacher Dan, Nescafe, powering everything I do. So this one is about the ways teachers earn by using Mark Token. And believe me, it's going to change the game. Mark Token, Mark Coin, Marks, however you want to say it, it's free. It's going to change the game for teachers. Thanks to the Gang Foundation, a lot of teachers will be able to just get a grant, no strings attached grant of like 100,000 marks that they can just right away start using in their classrooms. So marks were made in the style of classroom management strategy of like using stars or points or tickets or whatever, right? Students get rowdy. If they act right, you give them some points. If they act bad, you might deduct some points depending on their age. And this is a motivation, right? This is supposed to help students stay motivated to have good behavior, to study hard, and just do well. Marx has taken that concept to its logical end. Points in many places where it is affordable, teachers make the points and then they also buy or purchase or provide the rewards for those points, right? The student makes 10 points and they can trade those 10 stars in for a little doodad. This is common teaching practice all over the world, been this way however many years. But, I don't know if anyone sees the problem with this. I said the teacher makes the points and then they also provide whatever the students can purchase with those points. Usually something that the teacher had to spend their personal money on. And that is unacceptable. It devalues the points because they're useless except for in that class and only for the limited range of nonsense that is provided. And also the teacher has to spend their own low amount of money. They have to spend their own salary, which is already too low, to provide some toys or knickknacks for students who the children are not their children. They take money out of their own homes to put into these classrooms with strangers' children. And we just pretend like that's okay. It's not okay, it's not necessary. So using Mark, Coin, all of that is gone. Teachers no longer need to spend their own money. They're gonna spend the money from their school or from the Gang Foundation. They're gonna spend the marks. How does it work? Let's start at the top with a private teacher, a private English teacher. You have your own private classes and you have to do all the marketing or whatever. One thing that will give you the edge over all other teachers in the world, if you have Mark coins, you can add to your marketing that either A, your class is not free, but your class could be as expensive as Harvard, but it's subsidized. Students don't have to pay full price because they will earn money. They will earn Mark Token, which will help lower the cost of their studies. You can do even one better. Saying, oh, my course is 10% discount, that might motivate some, but it won't motivate all. What will motivate the high performing students is if you say, the class is X amount, but if you do very well, it goes down to X amount, to 10% off. And if you do even better, if you get number one, or the classes or 80% off, whatever, depending on their ranking in the class, that's competition. The students they can't help but want to compete, especially on something so necessary. So that's very attractive for students, that competition aspect, and based on their effort and results, based on their effort, they get tangible results. And that is so rare in the world for students to get tangible, real world results from their efforts. So rare, people are going to jump at the chance. Think of all of the students or all of the parents who believe or are focused on their children's future and achievement. They'll put their kids in there just because. That's powerful. And you can do this because of Mark, right? Normally, if you wanted to do this, you'd just be taking money out of your own pocket. As a private teacher, your course costs X amount. You can only teach so many students in a day, right? You need to make a living. You can't do this, or you wouldn't want to heavily discount your course just because a student does well. That's crazy. But with marks you can, because the marks replace money. The marks will replace money, and you're going to have a bunch of marks up front from the GAIN Foundation that you give to the students, so that whatever discount you offer on the course is actually just going to be paid using marks. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio. There's no loss. Next. All right, so let's say that's past the attraction point. Let's say you have students in your class, right? You're teaching English, you have a class of students, they've all paid. All right, let's say you're teaching your students, you have a class full of students, and they've all paid their full tuition for your class, right? But you're an English teacher, can't charge a super exorbitant amount. You know, maybe a few of us can, maybe a few, I don't know, super good, super high level branding experts can brand ourselves as the top English teachers in the world and can hit that very high rate. But for the most part, the average teacher is just gonna have to charge an average price for their lessons, especially if it's like a private class. It might be a little higher, but regardless, you're charging whatever you charge. It's not enough, because you're providing an invaluable service, not just to the child, but to their family and to their community and to their country and to the world as a whole. As a teacher, you're providing a service that is one of the most valuable aspects of humanity. I'm gonna say this, I say this every day. I shout it from the teachers are part of the core components of the engine that propels humanity forward into the future, all right? Without teachers, we don't keep going, we stop. We get a dark ages situation. We lose the knowledge of the past, right? We're starting over from scratch, and then more teachers will just get created in the future after whatever stagnation happens when we lose all of our current teachers. Necessary, but we are not paid. We are necessary because, and I've explained this in other videos, we are necessary, but the job we do is not for people with money. The job we do is for people with no money, and we get paid through the charity of other people and organizations. So we need to change that. With Mark Token, the people that get taught, 100% of the people who get taught can afford to pay for their teaching. Say that again. And if you're a teacher, I want you to write a comment and say, I'm a teacher, I don't believe you. If you're a teacher, you don't believe me, write a comment, and I will give you a link to like a hidden video. 100% of the people that get taught can afford to pay for their teaching. What that does is that opens up the education economy to teachers becoming valuable, right? Right now, teachers are valuable based on their publishing or their notoriety. If they're like, they get famous or something. But honestly, very few teachers get notoriety, get valuable because of the quality of their teaching. Just because it's ephemeral. The people who get taught, they take the teaching and they give nothing back and they don't leave reviews and they just go on. And so many great teachers get little to no recognition. They get a hug at the end of the year from all their students, but they don't get no money. So if you're a teacher and you want some money, you really need to listen. You need to get these marks, okay? So as a private teacher, just say you get a grant from Gang Foundation for 100,000 marks. And at this time, we value marks at 35 cents per mark. So whatever that is, it's 100,000 times 3,500 or something like that. Anyway, but that price will go up or down or whatever. It'll move based on how many people use them. So if you're a teacher, leave a comment, right? You want 100,000 marks and you want them to be worth $1 each. Leave a comment how much you want marks to cost, to be valued at, not to cost, because they don't cost anything. Marks don't cost any money. You get grants from the Gang Foundation, and your job as a grant recipient is to distribute those marks to students. We actually have a lot of flexibility of how you do that. There is a base amount that's recommended that you give to your students every day, and you'll find out here in a moment. Anything above and beyond that, you really have a lot of leeway. And if you're a great teacher, you're going to make yourself great money, right? And if you're not, then maybe you won't. Maybe you'll make a normal amount of extra money. So double your normal amount. So as a teacher, you're going to get a grant for 100,000 marks. And you have a class of, let's just say you got 5 students in your class, and every day you're going to give those students 2 to 3 marks, just baseline, 2 or 3 marks baseline. So you teach your students for 6 months. How many days is 6 months? We'll just say it's 200 days. You teach your students for 200 days and they got like 3 marks. He says about 600 marks spent out of the 100,000. Again, so you've given them 600 marks. And why did I pick 35 cents? We'll say it's 30. So that's $200. You've given your students $200. Yes. $200. You're giving them $200. So you as a teacher get a grant for 100,000 marks. You distribute 3 marks a day to your students. If you have 5 students, that's 15 marks a day. No, scratch that. You as a teacher get a grant for 100,000 marks. You distribute 3 marks a day to your students. Each student gets 3 marks times however many students you have. Anyway, at the end of the course, each student has earned about $200. About 600 marks for $200. $200 in your student's pocket. All right. Now you might say, "Oh, where's the money making? How do I, as a teacher, make money?" If you were wondering that, write in the comments. How do I make money? Right? Here's how you make money. So not only are you giving your students a baseline every day, but now your students are the ones who pay you. Right? You're not teaching them for free every day. Your service costs money. How much does it cost? It costs 1 mark. You give them 2, you're gonna take 1 back every day because they're paying for your lesson. So however many students you have are gonna pay you 1 mark. Now again, you got this money as a grant, all right? You got we'll just say it's $100,000 grant. You're gonna give $2 to your students. They're gonna give you 1 back every day for their lesson. So even if you had 100,000 students, you just paid them straight baseline, you're gonna keep 50% of that initial grant. That sounds like money to me, just like that. That's just baseline, not following any other recommendations or using any of the other techniques that go along with this new system, all right? And we're not the police. We would, obviously the Gang Foundation would love it if you followed the fullest recommendations. I think that actually would help you maximize your income, right? So you're gonna get 100,000 marks. You're automatically gonna keep 50% of that as the fee for your students studying every day. But you as a teacher should be able to get more of that back in benefits and extra purchases by your students. Let me explain. Your students are walking around with 100,000, 50,000 marks. You need to get some of that back, right? You need to get some of those marks back because you got a new cohort, a new class of students gonna start at the end of the year. You're gonna get a new batch of students and they also need marks, right? Marks are worth 35 cents each, whatever. You make them buy the marks. The first set of marks you get from the Gang Foundation is a grant for 100,000 marks. You get them for free. But marks is currency, it's cryptocurrency. It's like dollar bills. It goes out and it comes back. And then you use those same marks for the next class. And they go out and come back endlessly for an infinite number of, not an infinite number, but there's like a 90% return rate. So you're gonna get 100,000 in the first year, you're gonna get 90,000 of that back. Second year, that 90,000, you're gonna get back the 80,000. Right, it's just gonna go out and you lose 10% per year. So your students you got 50%, 100,000 marks. As a teacher, you've got 50,000 marks for your services. Your students have 50,000 marks in profit for their studies. All right, don't worry about that. That's addressed in another video. Students study, they get paid to study and they make profit, and they should. Everyone who goes to work every day should make money. Students go to work every day. It's mental work, it's still work. They earn money for that. And you as a teacher pay them that money. All right, but they also pay you for your services as a teacher. So the students are walking around with 50,000 marks. Now, they paid you to come to your class. What about extra credit? That's extra work you as a teacher have to do. If you're a teacher, write in the comments if you love extra credit or if you hate extra credit. I want to know your opinion, because I know for me personally, when a student doesn't show up for class or they didn't do their homework or whatever, right? And they want to know whatever their IELTS band score is, but they didn't do the work I told them to do. And they're like, okay, I'll do it for next class, whatever. That's more time out of my day, out of my schedule that I have to use when I had allotted a certain amount of time to grade these exams. And that student missed that time. Now I have to spend more of my time to do something that you should have done, right? So it's not equitable. It's not a fair exchange. However, using marks, say, all right, look, I'll grade your test or whatever, your paper, your homework, I'll grade it late. I'll spend the extra time, but that's going to cost you another mark. How many of those chronically late students, those procrastinators that, can I just have, one more day to finish the procrastinators, those chronically late, those absents, they need to make their work. They want to make up their work. I want to make up some money. I want to make up the money for the time I'm going to spend grading your work. So let's just say that accounts for another 10% of your students. They're late homework and they do make up, or they want an extra day to turn in the project or whatever. That's 10%. So they had 50,000, you're taking another 5 From that, you started with 100. You collected 50 in attendance fee, right? Just for them to attend your class, you collect 50,000 back for all of the late homework. And if you're enterprising, you could even charge different prices, right? Late homework is definitely worse than an extension or something like that, right? They just didn't, oh, I forgot my homework, teacher. I just didn't do it, or whatever the bullshit is. That, oh, okay, you didn't do your homework? Well, you wanna do it? That's 2 marks. Give me 2 marks and you can do your homework. But, oh, you just need an extension. So your group partner had to go to the hospital, so you guys didn't get to work there. I understand, it makes sense. All right, just give me 1 mark and then I'll give you an extra day. If you need 2 days, give me 2 marks. If you need 3 days, blah. That sounds like a lot of flexibility in your class. Your students are actually become agents in their education. They can kind of, it sounds like there's some shift happening where your students have some power to the kind of education they want. It's an interesting thought. The students can say, 1 week just isn't enough for this project. Can we have 2 weeks? Before, you might get some older students or some enterprising students who were able to negotiate their education like that. And I know I, as a teacher, always love it. I'm inspired by it. I love it if they can organize their thoughts and be decisive and petition for what they want in their life. That's one of the goals of my education. I want them to learn to be active agents in their own lives, to take charge of their surroundings and change them to benefit them. That's right. As a teacher working for the betterment of humanity, this is the kind of human I want to build. I want to help. I want to contribute to the development of a human who can take a look at the world around them, see what works to their benefit and their detriment, and then petition or make active change to that world in order to benefit them. That's great and it's amazing and I love it when it happens. If a student just has enough balls to just be like, oh, teach, I got a party on Saturday. I'm not gonna have the energy. I would love to do blah, but maybe can I do it on Sunday? Yeah, man, of course. Fuck. I'm an adult, right? Their whole lives have been in school. They don't have the perspective we have. I know shit happens, and sometimes you want to do whatever. And this is just a piece of paper that doesn't actually mean anything as long as you have the knowledge. I don't give a fuck. Turn it in on Sunday. Now, right, because the students will be empowered with direct voting power, with direct action power, with currency. They're gonna have that money in their hands. And they can just say, oh, I got this money, that's my backup. I can actually go to this teacher on some equal level and say, hey, teach, I know you provide the service for me and you're teaching me. Can I give you this money and you make an allowance for me? Woo! That's power. That's education. That's what we want for our students. Now, if you as a teacher, all you have to do is put in the comments, give me the 100,000. If you're a teacher watching this video, leave a comment, give me the 100,000, and you'll get a grant for 100,000 marks, and you can start to implement this in your classes. All right, this is not against any laws. There are no laws in the world that prohibit students from earning money for their work. All right, now there's some stuff about student athletes can't get paid, but normal students getting paid for their studies, especially since it's completely equal, completely equitable. Every student across the board gets the same base amount. Completely equitable, completely legal. There is no conflict here. There is no drawback. There is no conflict. Now, there may be some drawbacks in the future. That's philosophy. We're not talking about that. We're talking about here in this world for you as a teacher. If you are a teacher right now, say, give me the 100,000, write that in the comments. You're gonna get 100,000. Now, so you're getting extra money for late work and extensions. Think about those grading curves on tests. I don't want to philosophize too much about the plight of students, but we all know students go to school for 12, 14, 16 years, and they don't get anything tangible, right? At the end, they might get a certificate, but that certificate is worthless except to prove to the employer that they did actually do what they said they did. But it's after that, what's it for? It's worthless. It's a piece of paper. So they do all this work. They're writing essays, reading books, writing theses, and treaties, I already said essays, but critical examinations of literature, and they're doing so much work for nothing. They gain knowledge, but they don't gain anything tangible. Now, throughout their decade and a half of study, they will earn money. They will earn something tangible that's worth something. Now, right now, as the system is, with that intangibleness, the students at the top, right, the best students, the most ambitious, they put in the most effort, the naturally most gifted, they get the highest marks, they get the first rank in their classes, they go on to excel. But as we all know, there's those 2 or 3 top students, and then there's everybody else who are going to live average to below average lives. They go to school for a decade and a half to achieve the same outcomes as people who don't go to school at all. For those at the middle and the bottom, that the intangible nature of school, that those benefits don't trickle down. They don't trickle down. They gotta pay if they're not at the top and they're not getting those scholarships and grants and support. They gotta pay for university, apply and compete. Just like everybody else, they're competing with each other, and what separates them is inches. Inches and the gift of gab in the interview room. It's not fair. Education is not fair. Get to the best of the best, and everyone else gets left behind. Now, all right, education still isn't fair, but the people who are not the best of the best don't get nothing. Right now, they get nothing. They don't get any discounts. They got to pay full price for whatever. They live normal. Right. They get to school and they leave with nothing, and they're just scratching and struggling like everyone else. But with marks, if you, as a teacher, love your students, you will get marks today. If you're a teacher, comment, I love my students. And if you don't love them, comment, I don't love my students, but I still want them to earn some money. All right, so you as a teacher have the opportunity right now to vastly improve the lives and outcomes of your students simply by taking a grant, completely free grant, with no strings attached, of 100,000 marks. Just do it, just take the grant. Write in the comments, give me the 100,000. That's the comment. You're a teacher and you write, give me the 100,000, you're gonna get it. All right, back to teacher earnings. So, teacher, you get their base salary, you get that base attendance fee, you get the 10% extra for whatever late fees. Your students need a curve, right? You teach a difficult subject. You can make your subject as difficult as you want now, right? You're not worried about feelings, right? It's not about feelings. Education isn't fair, and it doesn't have to be. Best and the brightest cream of the crop will rise to the top. Whatever. You can start teaching more advanced material, or you can teach easier, whatever. You can level your stuff off. You can offer that advanced material to the ones who want it, and the less advanced. Ooh, I didn't even think. Okay, so you're a teacher and you have some students who are good, some students who are not. Some students need more challenging work. Some students need less challenging work. It's simple, right? We all know about those students that get the activity and they finish first. They finish fast, way before everyone else, and we have had to prepare what's called the extension activity for those high achieving students, those fast finishers. They need extra work. That means extra work for me. I can't just prepare the one lesson. I can't just prepare the lesson that I'm supposed to teach. I gotta prepare extra work for your smart ass. I don't get paid for that. I got the lesson. There's the standards. I prepare to teach the standards, but come on, your brainiac butt is causing me extra work. Now, that extra work on your side, you're a teacher, you're doing extra work, you're getting paid for your extra work. All right, you're smart. Oh, little Timmy finished his work real fast. Little Timmy, you want some more? Huh? Want to prove you're the best? You're the best at English, little Timmy? Give me that mark. I got something for you. I got a challenge for you, Timmy. Give me that mark. Here you go, teacher. Now, every student that needs the extra challenge will receive it. All right? We are tired and overworked and underpaid. No longer. You take this grant. If you're a teacher, in the comments, right? Give me the 100,000. You get that 100,000, and your students are going to pay you for your extra work. They want more challenging work. They want extension activities. Give me that coin. Give me that mark. Also, there's the cream of the crop at the top, and then there's I don't know if there's a idiom for people at the bottom, but whatever. There are those low achievers, right? There's the class clowns. The comedians, they don't need to do well in school. They're going to get on stage, and you just don't want them to disrupt your class. That's all you care about. All right, excuse me. All right, Amy, goddamn. You don't have to get A's and B's. You don't have to get 10s and 100s. Just keep your zeros. Just shut up. All right, just do that. Don't disturb the rest of the class with your fart jokes. Damn, Amy. We all know that. We don't want that. So now little Amy can pay you as a teacher for that easy work, right? Because little Amy's been getting, the tests have been getting harder and harder as the year progresses, as the course progresses. The tests are getting more difficult, and then little Amy's just gonna zone out. She's gonna zone out, and she's gonna start distracting the class or poking her neighbor or whatever it is, because she doesn't get it. She just doesn't get it. Well, little Amy, look, you don't get it. This is too difficult for you. But I spent the time last night to make a test for you. I spent the time last night to make a test, an easier test, just for you. Little Amy, one more. Uh-oh. So now, you've got 50% of the grant comes back to you in the form of attendance fee. Another 10% comes back to you for late and extension work, or deadline extensions and late homework and whatnot. Missed absences make up. Another 10% comes from leveled content and extension activities. Extra, more difficult work and easier work. The students make the choice of what they want. They use the power of the penny. They use the power of their marks, right? They vote with their wallets. They vote with their wallets what kind of work they want to do. The ones who are high achievers will choose the more difficult work. So let's just say you got another 10% coming back to you because you're offering choices to your students. They now have the choice and the agency and the responsibility for their education. They're paying for it. They're paying you for the type of education they want. So that's another 10% back. So now you're at 70% of the money has come back to you. You got a grant for 100,000 marks, and just for the ease of math, right? I fully believe this will be the case. 100,000 marks will be worth at least $100,000 one day. That's what I believe. But I'm an English teacher, so don't count on me for that. That's why I'm making this easy. All right, I'm making this easy for one-to-one. I'm not fucking with all the cryptocurrency math and fractions. Too much for me. Honestly, all right. So the game foundation is hiring. We desperately need to fill some positions in the C. That's the chiefs of the different departments. Right? So there's the CEO with the large vision. That's me. But the CTO, technology officer, I forgot all the marketing, chief of marketing. And then when you're CFO, financial officer. And then when you're COO, sales and outreach portion. So the financial officer is going to be responsible for getting these calculations and projections and statistics done. It's just beyond me. I can do most jobs, but the finance, I can't. I just don't have the knowledge. Maybe if I were paid to learn it, I could learn that. If I was getting marks when I was a student, should I have all the degrees? I have them all. I have all the knowledge. If I was getting paid every day to go to class, hell yeah, I would have been in a lot of classes. All right. Anyway, so let's say you got 100,000 marks and it's worth $100,000, and you want to keep as much of that as you can, right? Obviously, you're in the game to help your students. If you're a teacher, comment right now, I want to help my students, or I don't want to help my students. You tell me which way it is, right? You're a teacher, you have $100,000 to pay to your students, given to you free and clear. All you got to do is give it to your students in some form or fashion. There's no big strings attached. Are you going to give them a majority of the money and find ways to get them to cycle it back to you, or are you just going to give them the base and you just keep as much as you can? Honestly, there's no judgment here. There's no moral judgment. As long as every student gets the base amount for studying every day, your obligation is fulfilled. Honestly, you maximize their learning and your earnings by implementing the strategy I'm talking about. So it's win-win, but it's win-win either way. You're a teacher, maybe you want to win up here and you let your students win here, but honestly, it's better if you just both win up here. It's completely possible. You're already at 70% return just by implementing the 3 strategies, or just from the base, offering extra credit, and giving your students a choice in the difficulty level of their work. They're going to give you 70% of that money back. Now, gamification. Some of the newest theories and teaching methodology. We all know students, especially these days, this Gen Z, especially this generation, they're gamers. They grew up gaming. I like this ubiquitous, 100%. Grew up gaming. They respond to game mechanics and the psychology around that. That motivates them. And there's a growing body of evidence that, including that in teaching, will motivate a greater number of students to success. And it's just common sense. Everything doesn't need a study. You can use common sense for some things. Back in the days when they were leeching people, that might have been common sense, but they needed a study. For this, do students like to play games? Who, if learning incorporated some fun game elements, would it be better than boring rote? Come on. It's not even a discussion. Gamified learning, gamification, that's what's going to happen. With marks, you can easily incorporate some gamification depending on your comfort with the ideas. For example, humans are made to gamble. We love chance and getting lucky. As long as it's fair, So you put in, you say, okay, students, we're going to take a test. You're a teacher. We're going to take a test. However, we're going to spin the roulette wheel. And whatever the roulette wheel comes up on, that's how many bonus points you get for the test. Oh, they would love that. Your class would go crazy if you offer bonus points on a test at the spin of a roulette wheel. Come on. So you say, okay. Now we can do the roulette wheel. It costs 10 marks. It's up to you guys. Do you want the roulette wheel or not? Even further evidence of whether gamification will work. Because you're letting the students vote. Just say, hey, you want it. You guys get together, work it out amongst yourselves. Give me 10 marks, and I'll spin this roulette wheel. There's no clearer evidence of whether you should or shouldn't do something than what your class comes together, negotiates, and works out what would work best for them as a class. Oh, come on. And if they all together say, no, we don't want the roulette wheel, but then little big spender, Mikey, the big spender, Mikey wants to make it rain to impress the ladies. He's like, y'all don't worry about this. I want that roulette wheel. I'm gonna pay for it. And little Mikey, he's been a good student. He's been getting his base pay of 2 marks a day. But anyway, so it's halfway to the year. He's got 3.5 months, so he's got 60 marks just from the base. That's not counting extra marks he would make with some of your other strategies. So he's got the base of 60 marks. He's ready. He's like, 10 marks ain't nothing for me. Those that 10 marks your way, and it's like, okay, roulette wheel. And you have just made $10 as a teacher. You made 10 marks, which is worth $10, and their students is happy. Everybody wins, and it costs you nothing. It costs the students nothing. It's just getting paid for their work. I don't want to say it costs them nothing, but right now they have nothing. They get nothing. With marks, they will start earning what they're worth. And they can pay a fair value, a fair market value for whatever you're offering. It really is an amazing time and an amazing opportunity. If you're a teacher, take advantage of this amazing opportunity. Right now in the comments, if you're a teacher, comment, I forgot that. I've been saying it, I said it like 10 times now, I forgot. Give me the marks. Maybe just give me the money. I'll take either one. Give me the money or give me the marks. If you write marks, put cash marks, cash symbol. Now, I am interested in the success of my students. I know some are better than others. And I want to reward ones who excel. Obviously, we want to use the reward excellence. It's its own form of motivation. So you give a test. It's test day, right? Here's how it breaks down. Your test, so there's 2 ways to do this. You can just, as a teacher, just say, okay, this test is worth 20 marks total. There's a pool of 20 marks. You can do it yourself, or if you have students who are capable of reasoning, this kind of reasoning and this level of accountability and responsibility, you can have them pool their money. So you offer the test to mature students. You can offer the test. You can say, hey, there's this test, but it requires a pool of 20 marks. And then your students can work out whether they can gather up those 20 marks, one from each student or however they do it, and they put it in the pool. Or you, if you're with younger students, obviously don't do this. You manage it. You just say, okay, everyone, here's a test, and it's worth 20 marks. Whoever gets the highest grade on the test will get the largest portion of the pool. Pool is 20. Whoever gets that 100%, that perfect score, they're gonna get 5. Boom. Motivation right there. They're gonna get 5 marks. And then whoever gets in second, they're gonna get 3. Whoever gets in third, they're gonna get 1. Or whatever, I don't know. There's math to figure that out. You can check it out on the white paper. I believe if you go to the website, there's some example calculations of how you can do this. But depending on the rank of the student, that will determine how many marks they get from the pool for taking that test. And in this way, the students are motivated to excellence. Now you might say, why? Why would they be motivated? Because you're still thinking in the old way, right? Who cares? I'm a poor performing student. What do I care if I get 1A or 1B? It doesn't make any real difference in my life. But now it does. With marks, those bad students earn less money. They don't have any incentive now. If you're a good teacher, you're going to take these marks and you're going to give every student incentive to be excellent. Why? Because they're earning money and they're keeping profit. And what can a student do with money? Well, I mean, they can blow it on candy and sweets, of course, or they can help their family. What do you mean help their family? You're a teacher. Think about it. How many parents don't give a fuck what their students do? They just get them out of the house for 8 hours so that they can go to work and get low wages themselves. But now, what if their students going to school provided a source of income for the household? Oh, suddenly, that parent who goes to work for low wages and may not be rich themselves, they see, oh shit, little Stacy is getting, $2 a day for studying. Little Stacy's gonna come back home from her course, from her whatever that 1 year course is. She's gonna come back home with $200. Suddenly it's a little bit more important whether your student, whether your children perform well or not. Oh, little Stacy's only getting $200, man, but little who does quite well is gonna come home with $800. How is Stacy getting $200 in Alfonso? Well, Alfonso consistently scores highest on the exams. Alfonso does his homework. Alfonso does the extra credit assignments, right? Extra credit assignments come with extra pay. Alfonso volunteers to stay after class and clean up the classroom. He gets paid for that. There's a lot of ways these students can start earning some coin, and that coin goes directly to their family, which translates to increased earnings for the family as a whole, and then for the entire community anyway. So that's a different story. That's another side. Needless to say, that money, even if the students are not supremely motivated by money, their parents are, and their parents will now be involved in the students' school lives. The parents will be involved in the students' behavioral outcomes. So, the students get punished for disrupting the class. You're getting punished. You're disrupting the class. Give me a mark. Give me 2 marks. Every time you talk, that's going to be a mark. Stop talking. Mark. And then the students going home with light pockets. Mama and daddy's on that ass. Where's our money at? Boy, what were you doing? You've been to school all day. You come home with empty-handed. I was talking. But the next day, that student doesn't come in talking in class. I am not an ethicist. I am not a moralist. It's not my job to police families or police teachers. I simply have invented the method to improve humanity. Humanity will get better if we can increase educational outcomes and motivation and accountability and responsibility of all students equally around the world. Universal basic income for students. You've heard about this, but it's not. I guess it is income because it's a UBI. This is universal basic income for every student who studies. So every student who goes to work at school by studying will be compensated. They will earn income. And you as a teacher will be in charge of distributing. I hope you can see how you will earn money as a teacher if you adopt Mars. So right now in the comments, say if you agree, yes, Mars is good, or no, Marks are bad. Let me know in the comments.